As organizations embark on their digital transformation journeys, it's essential for them to understand how mature they are in a digital sense and how they benchmark against competitors and what they can do to accelerate each of the components of their digital transformation. With this in mind, Right Management and Experience created an online assessment tool, the Digital Evolution Pathway, to help organizations and clients, prospectives and currents understand how mature they are. And with me today to discuss this is Steve Walker, Digital Platform Director at Experience. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Tomas.
So before we start and get into the details, we hear so much about digital transformation. What is it? What do we actually mean by digital transformation?
Yeah, digital transformation is really a concept that talks about what businesses need to be doing today to continue their evolution. The thing that's interesting is that it is an evolution. It's a set of steps and processes. It's not just technology. It's more about setting culture for an organization to be able to flourish in today's digital economy. If you look at the Industrial Revolution, it took about 30 years to fully realize the value of the changes that were occurring. Look at when computers entered the workforce, it took about 10 years. The pace of change is what we're after today in today's digital economy. So organizations are focused on improving their pace of change. Digital transformation at its core is about creating new value and new experiences in today's digital ecosystem.
Steve, so many times discussions on technology focus on computers, machines, AI, but it's important to understand that maybe the most challenging element of that is the human aspect of change and adaptation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the key parts, one of the differentiators that we from a ManpowerGroup provide is the cultural component, because it is not just a technology play. It's a lot of different activities that are necessary for an organization to evolve.
When we think about the digital evolution pathway, not just the tool, but the program which you helped devise, Steve, what is it in a nutshell?
So the digital evolution pathway is a brief 10-minute assessment that's really designed to be an indicator on where an organization fits in a digital evolution maturity model. So specifically, we identify 4 key areas that we target in the assessment. One is strategy. What are some of the activities that an executive team is currently doing? What sort of planning are they doing to effectively drive digital transformation initiatives? The next area is culture. What are some of the training initiatives? What are some of the cultural activities that are being done to really define and create a growth mindset within an organization? What are some of the practices that are currently being used in the organization? What sort of level of agility is being applied to some of the individual lines of businesses? And finally, what different types of innovations? Technology is a component, but not a major component, but still there's different things that need to be in place to be able to drive interesting and important innovations. So as people use their mobile device or the brief website tool, they're able to look at this and we place them on different facets of growth or areas of growth. In terms of a maturity evolution. So from there, there's a set of recommendations based on if they fall in an aware stage, an engaged stage, connected stage, or an optimized stage. And these are a very concrete set of recommendations that then they can take back to their organizations.
Right, because the diagnosis in itself isn't very valuable unless it leads to a kind of what to do plan and an intervention, right? So is that included in the feedback that people would get?
Yeah, there certainly is a little bit of identification about, well, where are we? Where do we fit in a maturity model, right? How mature are we in some of our practices across those 4 areas? But that alone is not very helpful. They need something concrete. This isn't just a tool that gives you a score. It's a tool that gives you a set of recommendations.
So Steve, give us an example of the kind of recommendations that people might get after completing the assessment.
There's over 30 recommendations that we provide across those facets, but a couple of specific recommendations might be if you're in the early stages, in the aware stage, it might be conducting executive leadership training specifically around digital transformation. It could be setting up a growth mindset program within an organization. It could be setting up and providing initial agile training and agile coaching. A key facet of digital transformation is around analytics and measurement. It could be establishing you have data readiness and data cleanliness to be able to provide more effective analytics. So all these are some initial recommendations that could be valuable for an organization.
So when people get the recommendations pertaining where they are in the digital maturity journey, what happens next? How do we go beyond that kind of text or narrative to actual interventions?
Right, well, most of these recommendations are things that we do as a unified brand today. So for example, with right management, there's activities in there specifically around leadership development, around digital transformation. There's digital transformation training. There's workforce assessment specifically around digital transformation skills. Within Experis, there's digital workforce management. In our solutions organization, there's actual activities around agile transformation services, digital experience management, continuous improvement, data science as a service, and advanced analytics, and emerging technologies such as machine learning and IoT and edge computing. So all of these are services that we as a unified brand are able to provide back to our clients.
So in a way, the assessment can be used as a segmentation tool to send organizations different kind of training and intervention pathways.
Absolutely.
And it's the idea that after the intervention, they can go through the assessment again to see the improvements and whether scores, changed or not.
Right, absolutely. And it's also encouraged that they actually send the assessment to different parts of their organization, because this is designed in a manner that if you're a C-level or a line of business user or even someone within the organization, there's going to be value in taking it to identify what activities that are necessary within their respective groups.
Right, because as we know, sometimes culture is perceived in a different way, whether you're an executive or a junior employee.
Right, there's multiple uses of the tool. And the important thing about this is that this is a very easy to use tool. It's going to be available on the ManpowerGroup website. A user will go there, they'll enter their email address, and then they'll be able to take the tool. And then we'll also be able to follow up with targeted results and targeted emails later to better identify additional follow-up activities. And of course, all of this activity will be coordinated seamlessly with the sales individual.
So who's the Digital Evolution Pathway tool or assessment for?
It's initially targeted for our C-level executives and our line of business owners. And these are the individuals who are most responsible for determining how an evolution needs to occur within their organizations. They're the ones setting the change. So for us as an organization, it gives our sales teams and our executives and even our consultants a tool that they can really go back to these organizations in a couple different ways. Most importantly, it's showing value that in a different way. We are experts in the space, we're providing you this tool. But more specifically, within our sales organization, now they will have a tool that they can identify and move through the process, and we're able then to go back to the clients and say, hey, we understood that you've got these sort of activities going on. How can we as a unified brand be able to help you?
So for people who are eager to try it or use the tool in that context, how can they learn more and how can they familiarize themselves with the assessment, the content, and how to use it?
The link will be available on the ManpowerGroup website. So encourage all of our teams to go look at it and try it out. But more importantly, they can then now take this link and share it directly to their C-level and their line of business and their other individuals within an organization. So once they do that, we'll be able to track usage and we'll be able to coordinate back with them on different clients that they may have that have been using the tool.
Thanks, Steve. I'm sure people will be very keen to try the assessment and send it to their prospects or current clients. It's been a really interesting conversation, and I'm sure this is a field that will continue to develop super fast, so we'll keep on checking for advances in this area.
Thanks, it's been a pleasure, and I'm really looking forward to some of the feedback that we get back from our teams and from our clients on how they're evolving in their journey.